I will keep repeating this until one of the doomers finally addresses the argument. This is a quote tweet. He is quote tweeting someone named Gary Marcus, who says, literally every conversation I have on Twitter about long-term risk leaves me more worried than when I started. Standard counter-arguments are mostly these. Ad hominem about who is in the long-termist movement, which is entirely irrelevant to the core question, and then I can't see the rest.
No.
Okay, so the quote, that's the tweet that Alexandros is quote tweeting, and he says, I will keep repeating this until one of the doomers finally addresses the argument. Government control of AI, which is the logical conclusion of their advocacy, increases existential risk by pushing AI research into secret labs that are unaccountable and opaque.
Okay, so let us just say I don't disagree with the content of Alexandros' tweet here at all. Mm-hmm. I agree that that is a concern, that the idea of we're going to control this through regulation creates an immediate problem about what that, it's a black box, and that black box is a frightening one. Mm-hmm. However, the idea of doomers, AI doomers, is increasingly circulating online. Okay. And the reason that I think we have to stop doing that is that I believe that, like, let's say, conspiracy theorist, there's a question. It may be that almost everybody who's talking about some sort of AI disaster is wrong about what we actually need to fear, right? Most people who are talking about these things are talking about, for example, the alignment problem where, let's say, an AI gets an instruction that it misinterprets and it starts doing a tremendous amount of damage thinking that it's following directions. That is a real risk, but it may well not happen, right? We don't know how big a risk it is. We're too early in the story. But that doesn't mean that everyone who sees a disaster coming is naive about the issue. And I will say, for those who didn't see it, in a past episode, we outlined 5 possible disasters that could come from the AGI era, 3 of which I believe are effectively guaranteed. There is no escaping them. They will happen. How big they are is a question, but that they will happen is not. And so those 5 involve the 2 that we may or may not have to worry about. Malevolent AI that views us as a competitor and comes after us. That's 1. Alignment, where a confused AI goes after us thinking that it is doing what we told it to do. That's 2. Those are the ones that are in question. Then there are the 3 that I don't think are in question. One of them being the malevolent use of AI by people who are trying to make a profit or gain power or something like that. There's no question that people are going to leverage this very powerful technology, and they are going to use it to transfer our wealth to them, whether it's by tricking us into coughing up passwords or by misleading us into voting for candidates that they have leverage over. Whatever it is that they're going to do, they're going to use it, and it is a powerful tool, and I would argue it is a more powerful tool in the hands of those who are not morally constrained because they're bad people than it is in the hands of people who are morally constrained and can only use it for a more limited set of things. So to the extent that it empowers those who are on the right side, and on the wrong side, it will empower those on the wrong side more. That's bad. Am I a doomer for thinking so? I don't think so. I think I'm just doing logic, right? The second catastrophe that is coming, that I believe is guaranteed, is a human cognitive catastrophe. That in a world where everybody has the potential to access an AI and to be informed by it or misled by it, you have an infinite number of feedback loops and amplifications and distortions that are then going to be impossible for any thinking person to rule out. So you're never going to know when the person who is wooing you is informed by the AI and you're dealing with a Cyrano de Bergerac situation. I was
going to say, yep.
Or is the genuine article, right? You may have ways of detecting it, but the point is everybody's trust needs to go to 0. That's like step 1. Trust going to 0 is actually the right thing to happen. And then the question is, can you get out of that? Can you figure out how to rebuild enough trust around enough things that you can actually function? And it's a very difficult puzzle to solve.
Right on that. I have gotten a number of ads. I've never tried out one of these, but because not interested in using it, but a number of ads for exactly what you're talking about, which is at this point just an app that implements ChatGPT, builds it into your phone's keyboard, and so the ads are all about guys talking to girls usually. Basically say they will suggest a bunch of responses, proper responses to exactly what you're saying. So you will have no idea. It just comes through as a text, but it builds right into your keyboard. You don't even need to go to ChatGPT and ask it anything. And it does the analysis right there. So that's, of course, the prototype version. It may not work very well as it is, but exactly what you're saying is coming right along, of course.
There it is.
It's right down the road. And so the point is, you can make the first move, right? You can outwit this to the first move, which is trust nothing, which is frankly almost one of the pieces of advice that I gave you, right? You have to not trust that you understand anything you think you understand, because it could mean anything in this era. But the point is, there's no solution to that problem, right? It's paralytic. So paralytic may be better than, falling off a cliff. You're paralyzed at the top of the cliff rather than falling off it. But it's not a strategy that you can use to make any progress in life. So that is another catastrophe that is guaranteed. People will use AI against us. That's one. We will go crazy as a result of the fact that we don't know what our perceptual apparatus is no longer going to be a reliable indication to anything, right? And then there's the third guaranteed catastrophe, which is an economic disruption like nothing that we have seen, right? Where suddenly huge fractions of the population are no longer necessary in the roles for which they've trained, have no ability to move to some other role, and we don't have any preparedness for this, right? Yep. We don't even have UBI, and UBI would be inadequate for this. So
well, and perhaps more quickly hasten the loss of the sense of identity and purpose.
Right.
Right.
Again,
like UBI is a separate question, but if UBI were to be implemented at the same moment that people are losing their jobs to machines, I think I don't know how you hold on to a sense of purpose. If there will be some people I trust who really were creative, analytical, exploratory, whatever, and in order to pay the rent, they ended up in jobs and were still, at whatever moments that they had free, working to keep the artistic, scientific, exploratory, whatever it is, pieces alive. That's not going to be most people. Yeah, most people are just going to find that they have nothing to do but sit and look at their screens. And that's terrible, and that it isn't the way it has to be. That isn't what humanity is supposed to be. But at this point, if you take away jobs and also at the same moment take away any sense of drive, because basic necessities are met at the same moment, it's a devastation unlike anything we've seen.
Yeah, let's put it this way. It's an event horizon. We can't see past it. We can talk about analogies, right? Moments at which you have a huge number of males who are unoccupied and have no meaningful prospects for starting a family at home. That's a situation ripe for abuse by elites who wish to arm those males and send them abroad looking for treasure. Is this an analog for that? Maybe. Is this the self-same object as the centralized digital bank currency that becomes a mechanism of control that keeps you in your 15-minute city? Is this that, right? Is the idea that the elites who have seen this coming, maybe because they have a time-traveling money printer version and have known about this longer than the rest of us, have they seen this coming, and do they understand they're about to have a huge number of people who are at best listless, who have to be controlled because of what they will turn into if they are not? I don't know. But I guess my point is, look, it's an event horizon. I'm not claiming to be able to see what's past it, because no one can. Right. But you can guarantee that on top of people using this thing to their benefit against the rest of us, and what was my fourth category?
You have malevolent people using AI for malevolent ends, the Cyrano de Bergerac style crazy making.
Yes,
we
the
can't trust our
craziness.
perceptual apparatus.
Right. So you can have a bunch of crazy people with no prospects and vulnerable to bad people leveraging AI against them. That's three separate disasters, and I don't see how any thinking person could actually rule any of them out. I think they are all effectively guaranteed.
Yeah.
So my point is, if I say I'm worried about a misaligned AI and a malevolent AI in theory, but I'm willing to entertain the possibility that those things actually might not come to pass, that nobody really knows for sure whether these things are the problem we think they are, or whether they're manageable. Am I a doomer for thinking these other things are coming? And in which case, shouldn't we all be doomers? Because does anybody have an answer to why those three things aren't going to happen? Right. So anyway, I guess my point is doomer is not a useful term, because what we really need now is nuance in the realm of what to fear and at what level to fear it. And there's more than one. None of these are mutually exclusive.
You know that invoking nuance proves you're a Nazi, right?
It has been used as such. It will now be used much more effectively in light of the AI's ability to massage the language surrounding the connection between nuance and Nazism. But yes, I don't actually think there's much to the claim, though it may become ever more compelling as the AI progresses.
Yes, indeed.